everyone, I'm back with another energy reading for you, and this one focuses on a new soulmate coming in. This morning I heard opera singing. So I don't know if anybody out there listens to opera or sings opera or is just a singer, but I kept getting, he sings, he dances, and he treats you like a lady. So I pulled one card from the Wisdom of Trees Oracle, and I got Ash, which I thought was really fitting because it almost looks like water, and there's fire beside it. And so water reflection, right, could be mirroring, and, you know, the fiery kind of passion. And it almost looks like the tree itself is very kind of gentle and soft with the way the leaves are, which could be how this person sees you. So I wanted to read you what it means. So for the ash tree, it's in the section of healing, because there's different sections in this book. So it says mastery. The ash tree is mastery. So the wood has many uses. It is strong yet flexible, so much like bamboo. And for centuries, it has been associated with magical powers that repel evil and heal children. It exudes a sugary sap, and so it helps make life sweeter. Yeah, so there's almost like a duality with this tree, which I thought was interesting. And it says that it was in mythologies, ancient Greece, Ireland, and Wales, and in Norse myths collectively, it was the god Odin who with his brothers created the first man from the ash of a trunk, from the trunk of an ash tree. And it has the ability to repel snakes, and a claim that encouraged many people in southwest England to carry ash sticks. And it was also used to burn in fires to keep the devil away. It also was made into tea for diuretic and laxative properties. This is really interesting. So take what you will from that. I thought it was really symbolic. I also pulled from the Lover's Oracle. Now, this was interesting because it definitely wasn't, it was kind of like, I was surprised by what I pulled out. So we're gonna get more into it, but so the first card I pulled out was this one. Okay, and it says, when you pass from this world, you take nothing with you, but your soul and the memories you have shared with those you love. So I'm getting a very ethereal kind of energy from this, and a softness, and with all of the pink, some self-love. Okay? And then, I mean, they're not really naked. There's a little bit of side boob, but we'll just do that. And then there's this one. And it says, beware of what you are projecting, for the words are hard today, the struggle is real. Beware of what you are projecting, for the qualities you admire in one another are qualities you both possess. Equally so, the qualities you don't like are also your own reflection. So yeah, so again, there's like, it looks like reflection on the water, and then even with this card, there's like this blue almost pool. So the heart's reflection, the reflection that you show to others, in the physical, and even in the spiritual sense, like those that have passed on. And then this was the third card that I pulled out. Really pretty. And it says, look inside yourself. Examine what is causing you to feel this way. So regarding a soulmate, it almost seems like the reflection of one's self at your core is what the soulmate that's coming in is going to share as well. And it seems like just from these cards that maybe there is concern about how it will go, if you can trust this person, if this person is going to have qualities that you deem worthy, or if you are having an issue with, you know, even some self-worth yourself. And so I wanted to get into the tarot to see what pops out, to maybe, I don't know, soothe your mind a little bit. You know, maybe you've been screwed over a lot, and so you're nervous about what's coming in for you, or your track record isn't that great when it comes to romantic relationships, or even any kind of relationship, you know. Doesn't necessarily have to be romantic. Soulmates don't have to be romantic. Yeah, but there's definitely reflection going on in all of these cards, and the message of looking within yourself at your own heart and your own soul, and those things that you love about yourself, that you see about yourself, you will see in this other person. So let's get into it. So what can we get for this first card, right? I'm getting, like I said, a very ethereal energy from this card. So maybe this soulmate sees you as ethereal, sees you as blessed, sees you as loving and gentle, much like the leaves on that ash tree, sees you as someone who is gifted, that has the ability to see through people, sees you with that duality of water and fire, gentleness, but also strength. What can you tell me? I'm using the manga deck. What can you tell me, Spirit, please, about this card, this ethereal type card? Okay, there's two here. Again, duality, twos, right? You might be seeing twos everywhere. I got the Five of Cups. Fives are change and challenge. Cups has to do with heart. So maybe, and then there's the Page of Wands. Yeah, so this is definitely stepping into something new, right? So the Five of Cups, you know, she's looking at all these spilled cups, and then she's got two cups behind her that she's not looking at, right? And then she's holding on to branches or flowers. So I feel like there might be focus. Like I said, there might be some anxiousness or hesitation to be open to what's coming when it comes to love. And I'm going to take it as love because the cups is confirmation. And then with the Page of Wands, this might be the beginning of, so wands are like passion and creativity. And it almost feels like when you step into this connection that because it's new and it's probably been a while for you, I feel like it's gonna feel, how do I want to say this? Sorry, I'm like at a loss for words. It might be a creative endeavor, right? Something new that you're stepping into. But also, there is something to be said that when you come into like a soulmate type of connection, there will be a creative and passionate like partnership, like combining, right? You're combining your creativity, you're combining your passions and desires. And if you're used to being on your own and used to being by yourself, or even someone who keeps their heart to themselves, or maybe you're a private type of person, sharing those ideas, sharing that passion, sharing those desires might feel very foreign to you. So you might feel very new at this. Wow, that took a while to get out. Jesus. Okay. Fuck. I wanted to get this out now, so it's out, and then I can relax for this tonight. Okay, so what can we get for the beware of what you're projecting for the qualities you admire in another are also qualities that you both possess, and equally so the qualities that you don't like. All right, Spirit, what can I get messages for that, please? So the projecting, so we have reflection and we have now projecting. Interesting. All right, I got the Queen of Pentacles in reverse. Now, what I'm getting off of that is an insecurity about finances. So this soulmate coming in may have more than you. And I believe that, again, because it's a projection, there's some self-worth with that. So maybe you will look at this person and be like, well, he has more, or they have more. Put yourself where you belong. Could be female, could be male, right? This person could have more. They could, you know, look to be in the 3D as a queen or a king. And then this person could also see you in the same way, that you deem qualities that you may have more that they don't have. So the both of you are probably seeing each other in the same light. And, you know, the Queen of Pentacles herself is she's not paying attention again. So there's double confirmation of, wait, I did this wrong the last time, right? Okay. Yeah. So they're facing apart from each other, right? So it doesn't seem like they're really looking at each other. They're more focused on what they're lacking, perhaps. And with the Queen of Pentacles, she's really holding tight to her core what she does have, and she's focused on that, right? So reversed, it would be either she's not someone who cares about that, and then might see the soulmate coming in as he has more, and then he wants to impress her, but she doesn't really care for that stuff. And money's important, right? But it isn't everything. But I would like more on that though. This is a really interesting read. The Nine of Wands. So I feel like this, the soulmate is definitely in a contemplation, and you could find yourself in a contemplation. Again, this is very reflective and projective. And if one is mirroring someone, and you're going through a situation where you feel, especially if you're empathic, right? And you're connected to someone energetically, if you're feeling like sad, or you're feeling insecure about something, or you're feeling like angry about things or whatever, and it kind of like comes out of nowhere, or you're not exactly sure why, you need to look at the flip side of that. You need to look at the fact that, like, it doesn't necessarily have to be you. It could be this person, this soulmate. And also, if you are feeling these things and you're going through these things, and you know that you're going through these things, this person is also going through the same things. They're also feeling the same way. So you're not alone, right? So the Nine of Wands looks like, I feel like this soulmate is a really hard worker, and he's really passionate about his work that he does. And then in his break time, in his silent moments, he thinks of you. And he wonders if you think of him, right? Again, I'm straight, so I'm thinking like men-wise, right? But put yourself where you belong, right? No gender in tarot. So, and again, there's a female and male with this one, and then there's a female and male with this one. So that's just what I'm pulling. So that's really interesting. What else can you tell me? I want more for this though, I feel like, but I'll get to that. Hold on. So yeah, looking inside yourself and examining what is causing you to feel this way. And there is a tree with this. So again, there's a lot of groundedness going on. A lot of focus on 3D things, physical things. And so to go within and to look inside, like, and there's a lot of strength coming in here, right? There's like strength in this and the spiritual. There's like, you see how it's like really strong with the tree, but then she has this softness with her hair and this floating, yeah, there's like floating vines and leaves behind her, right? That are cascading down. Yeah, and then the male and feminine aspects of softness and strength, and, you know, male softness, female softness, male strength, and female strength. Okay, what can you tell me about this looking within, please? What does the collective need to know about this looking within? Justice. Wow, okay. Yeah, the balance, right? The duality, the balancing of feminine and masculine energies, the balance of being strong and soft, the balance of the ethereal, the spiritual, and then also the groundedness. And I also feel like there will be justice in your feelings, in what you're feeling, in what the soulmate is feeling for you, and then also what you are feeling for them. What else can you tell me about this going within? The Knight of Swords. Yeah, he's moving slowly, right? He's trudging through the emotions. He's protective, analytical, right? He's thinking everything through. He's lining everything up so that it's right when he does come for you, or when she comes for you. Again, this is female male, so there is really like a masculine feminine duality in these cards. Okay, I want to know what advice you have for the collective when it comes to this Five of Cups and this Page of Wands. What can you give for advice? What advice can you give the collective for the Five of Cups and the Page of Wands? The Three of Pentacles came out reversed. No, I just checked these cards. They're all upright. I feel like this card is saying that you don't have to do anything. You don't have to keep creating. I feel like this is like telling you to rest, to not worry. To not waver on your belief. Because this is about the etherealness and the spiritualness. It says, when you pass from this world, you take nothing with you, but your soul and your memories you have shared with those you love. So it's what matters in your soul. It matters about your heart. It doesn't matter what you can give or provide. Do you know what I mean? So I don't know if you're having these kinds of thoughts or these kinds of worries, or if the soulmate is having, like the other person is having these kinds of worries, or that maybe you won't connect properly in the way I don't know, like it almost feels like there's a worry of whether or not the creative passion will blend. Almost like if you want the same things. And I feel like you shouldn't worry about that. That isn't something you should be focusing on, because your heart and your soul is what's pulling you together. Does that make sense? Yeah. Okay. Yeah, it'll all come together when it's supposed to. What can I get for this with reflection and like the projection. So that's reflection. What can I get for this projection with this? That's too many. With the Queen of Pentacles and the Nine of Wands. Please, what can I get? The Eight of Cups. Yeah, he's definitely, see, he's facing and he's looking out, you know, into the distance, and the moon. And the moon is, you know, what's hidden from his sight that he's unaware of. And again, with the Nine of Wands, he has everything lined up behind him, but he's not looking at it. It's almost like he doesn't even care about, he's passionate about what he does, but it's almost like you occupy, you know, this person's mind like all the time. He's always thinking of you, especially at night, you know, when things are quiet, on breaks when he has a moment. This person even might be a workaholic. And maybe with the Queen of with the workaholic and stuff, and the Queen of Pentacles, maybe he sees you like as the Queen of Pentacles, that maybe you don't need him, which is where the material possessions don't seem to matter almost in this reading. It seems very much soul and heart connection, and maybe there's too much focus on that. I'm not sure. I hope this is resonating for someone, because it's really bizarre. Makes sense, but it's bizarre to me. What else can you tell me about the Nine of Wands and this Queen of Pentacles, like this projection? I just heard you two are more similar than you think you are. Like opposites attract, but I feel like there's probably more worry going on than is necessary. What can you tell me more about the Queen of Pentacles reversed and the Nine of Wands? The Four of Swords. Yeah, there's a lot of swords here. So there's a lot of analytical stuff going on, a lot of mind stuff. Which makes sense with the past reading, the dense energies. You know, there's a lot of thinking going on, a lot of planning going on. And I feel like there's a lot of pressure to get things right. Yeah, she's sleeping, and she looks like she's praying, and she's not paying attention to the swords that are lined up behind her. It almost feels like there's a lot of thinking going on at night. And again, with that last reading that I did, it almost feels like there's a lot of mental energy happening to block out unnecessary things. And then she has her sword behind her, ready for battle if need be, if something gets through. But I feel like with the Force and her sleeping and her hands together and she's armed, it almost feels like she's being protected, right, in the spiritual. So projection. So both of you are protected. Both of you feel honorable. Both of you seem to be focused on one another, or thinking about one another, wanting to make sure that you are good where you are before you come into this this connection, before you come into this union. So it feels like they're worrying about the same things that you're worrying about. That I want to have this done. I want this to be cleared. I want this to be taken care of. I want these problems to be solved. And they're thinking the same thing. But it really isn't about, I don't think it really is about whether or not you both have, you know, your ducks in a row. I really think that it's about God's timing, right? Because there's a very spiritual and ethereal connection going on, and it's kind of out of your hands, you know? Don't sweat the 3D stuff. Don't sweat, you know, the physical stuff. That'll all come into play when it needs to, right? And it'll be a lot more harmonious than you think it is. Okay. Yeah, makes sense. All right. Okay. What can I get for the looking within with the Justice and the Nine of Swords? What can you tell me about the Justice and the Nine of Swords for the collective? Yeah, strength. All the strength you have is within you. You are strong. This person is strong. It seems like you've been through a lot and you're going through a lot. There's a lot of healing happening, and it seems like there's a lot of care in all of this. They really care for themselves and care for you, and you know, vice versa, and they just want everything to be just so, right? Just like you want it to be just so that you guys are both at your best when you come into this union, this connection. And you see how, like, he's hunched over and he's petting this lion, and this lion is just, you know, melting in his arms. That while lions are fierce and strong, there's also a, you know, a protection and a softness to them. Just the big kitty. Just kidding. What can you tell me more about this Justice and the Knight of Swords, please, for the collective? What messages? The Chariot. Yeah, that's good. So while the Knight of Swords and the Justice is here, the strength, again, there's lions in this. Yeah, I feel like this is really, yeah, the Spirit is protecting this connection, and God is protecting this connection. And while he and you may be moving slowly right now, and it feels really like slow dredging kind of like through all this dense energy with this Knight of Swords and this like analytical and all this like kind of intense mental energy, it's gonna move really fast once the energy shifts. I just heard February. Yeah, there's a lot of red in this. The eye is red with this lion. Her hair is red. There's red with, you know, that could be root, that could be, because there's a lot of worry about 3D stuff, right? That root stuff. But also February, you know, that's Valentine's Day, and that's, you know, the lovers and whatever. You know, take what resonates. Also, Chinese New Year, red envelopes, very much red colored lanterns and decorations. So I feel like the energy is going to really shift over around that time. I think Chinese New Year is February 12th. Not for sure, but I think that's about right. And then, yeah, Valentine's Day's on the 14th, right? Yeah, I don't think that you need to worry about anything. I think that you are doing the work. I think this person is doing the work. And to really just keep on keeping on, keep on trucking. And everything is gonna be a-okay, because there's definite care for each other, definite care for yourselves, wanting everything to be good and ready, and there's a lot of strength and softness with this connection. I think that's really beautiful. The bottom of the deck is the Ten of Cups. So this to me is, there is potential for marriage with this communion together, this union, this connection. I think you see each other as marriage material, and that you could build and live a happy life, which is maybe why there is some concern and worry about the physical and the 3D things, because you want to be married, because you want to be ready for marriage, to build a life together. Yeah, that's beautiful. Okay, well, I hope that, you know, maybe this puts your mind at ease a little bit, and yeah, you guys will be ready for each other when you know, the time is right for you to come into connection and union with this person. So have a good weekend, everyone, and God bless.